You're also stalling for artifacts? I'm not, though. I have nothing I want to level. I got 2 decent artifacts today, but I'm not going to level them because they can't be better than what I already have. You want me to level them and be disappointed? Fine. I'll do it just for you. Alright? Just for you. We find it. Wow. Attack, crit damage, elemental mastery. Alright, let's roll. We're gonna get fucking flat defense. Wow, amazing. Oh, we got HP percent. Who cares, right? It's gonna roll into flat HP. Wow, what a surprise. Oh, okay, wait, that's actually kind of good. Maybe. Yeah, okay, never mind. See, it's now I'm disappointed. Now I'm mad, and I'm gonna take it out on you. Loser. Bozo. Frick you. No one likes you. You have no friends. Is there a good Cyno Furina team without Nahida or Baiju? If no, is it better to get Baiju or Nahida? I mean, is there one? I mean, sure. Is there a good one? Sure. Is there a great one? Eh. At the end of the day, you can always play stuff like Dendro MC. And compared to Nahida, you'll have the upside that the burst carries over across waves if you have enough damage to kill a wave really quickly. Compared to Baiju, you just have better application, but obviously you don't have the healing. And so you need to run a unit that heals on the last slot, something like Kuki. I do think that there's a decent gap between if you have them and if you don't for Cyno in Furina teams. But I also don't know how much I like Cyno teams with Furina that only run one of those 2 units. Like, I'm not that big of a fan of Cyno, like Cyno Furina, Baiju, Dendro MC. It's fine, but it's, I feel like if you don't have them with Cyno, I'd prefer running some like weird dank stuff. Right? Either double Hydro Hyper Bloom or some like stuff with Toma, with Burgeon, like some weird Burgeon mixes, stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. I know Aggravate is worse than Quick Bloom in most situations. Yeah. I mean, it has the upside of like, at least as far as I'm aware, scaling a bit better with vertical investment on Cyno. But that's not even really true anymore with Furina. Because Furina's damage bonus is like kind of enough to make up for the stuff that you can play in Quick Bloom. Or sorry, in Quicken. I don't know, man. This is a nice place to run in circles, though. I like it. I will be coming here more often to run in circles. Instead of just always running in circles in Abyss. That's a rectangle? I mean, you can run a circle around a rectangle. You know that, right? I am not following the edges of the rectangle. I can try to follow the edges of the rectangle. Peak endgame stuff? True! I will say, though, the ADHD circle running in Withering Waves is more fun than the ADHD circle running in Genshin. Because 1, you can run in circles with the grapple, and that's kind of cool and shit. And 2, you can run in circles by farming echoes on the map, and even though it doesn't actually do anything productive, it's still nice to you know, have the, ooh, I got a 5-star echo, oh, I got a 4-star echo, darn it. Oh, I didn't get an echo, oh, I got an echo. You know? Who do you think of Mona and Navia teams, both with and as a side grade to Furina? It's not a side grade to Furina. You're gonna have to be for real right now. I appreciate your optimism, but yeah. As a downgrade to Furina, I mean, if you don't have any other options, it is what it is, I guess. Isn't Wriothesley the best for reverse melt? I mean, who was a reverse melt carry before? Ganyu? I mean, that's kind of more Ganyu being shit than anything else, you know? Rosaria's a quick swap unit. She's not like a non-fielder. A direct comparison to Wriothesley doesn't really make too much sense. Isn't Wriothesley the best carry in Wriothesley teams? Oh, that's a good point. Actually, no. Unironically, he isn't, because so many Wriothesley teams use Bennett, and Bennett's a better carry than Wriothesley. Sorry, I don't make the rules. It is what it is. No, but Wriothesley's biggest advantage is that he has a lot of teams where he's pretty decent, right? His biggest weakness is that he doesn't have any team where he's amazing, right? Like, he's one of the units where which archetype you go for matters the least. And he's decent in basically all of them. But he doesn't really have perfect synergy with any of them. Except maybe Bain-Marie, but Bain-Marie has the downside of not having access to non-burst reliant supports for Dendro and Pyro to fulfill those roles. Once we get Dendro and Pyro units that work for Bain-Marie without needing burst, the team is going to be a lot better. But as of now, you're playing a team that barely generates any particles with some of the fucking... Well, with basically the most... Like, people shit-talk non-C6 Pharazon's ER requirements. But in my experience, Baiju's been worse. Alright? It's just... Ugh! Man. And, like, the archetype is really cool. And the ways the auras interact is really sick. But we don't have units that really work that well within the archetype yet. I do think that if that changes in the future, it is going to be his best team. And is going to be Pog, you know? Like, if there was a unit that could work like Toma, but also be a team-wide healer, or not like Toma, but like, if there was like a Pyro Kokomi, right? A unit that can apply Pyro from off-field and give you good healing, then you could use Nahida in the Wriothesley Bain-Marie team, and it would actually be really fucking strong, right? But yeah. I think... Like, I can understand feeling that way because Navia is a good unit, and Furina and Navia are very good. And Lenny, if you pretend like the limitations aren't there, is really good. And Wriothesley's not bad. And he's competitive in freeze teams to what was previously the best freeze carry, while also having other good teams that the other freeze carries, or that the other freeze carry isn't really good in, right? He's Mega Cope in freeze, yeah, but he still works, right? Yeah, like, I understand feeling like Fontaine, every Fontaine character has been power creep, but also, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Also, yeah, I guess Chiori is, like, another weird thing. Or, like, technically she kind of is power creep. But also, like, Albedo's just not very good. Right? Kind of in the same way that Freminet is physical razor power creep. Right? Like, sure, technically yes. But, like, you know? Like, you know? Like, you know? Mr. Zajef, I'm late to the game. An unrelated question. As I missed the ask, Zajef. Xiao, how does Hu Tao work with Xianyun? Or how does Hu Tao with Xianyun, Furina, and Yelan compare to Xiao with Farazan C6, Furina, and Xianyun? Honestly, I think I like the Xiao team a bit more. I mean, I'm not like a huge fan of that Hu Tao team with Yelan over Xingqiu. Just feels like shit to me. Like, it's good, but it just feels terrible. Hu Tao without Xingqiu dies of cringe. Reality is, they're both good enough that it's not gonna matter. The Xiao team is going to have a lot more versatility, though, because of its ability to deal with AoE content significantly easier than the Hu Tao team. Whereas the Hu Tao team should be able to shred through stuff a bit faster in single target. Hu Tao team also has more readily available good free-to-play options. I feel like you don't really need Xingqiu utility in that team. So the thing is, Yelan isn't even really a DPS increase over Xingqiu because what you're gaining from the damage buff, you're losing from inconsistency and actually vaping everything from the lower application. Like, when everything goes right, Yelan will be stronger, but in practice I've found that there's really not much of a difference. Because a lot of the time, especially when you're not necessarily in single target, your stuff just doesn't work out perfectly and your auras can get a little bit messy. It is true that Xingqiu's defensive utility matters less with Xianyun because you're immune to crowd control while you're in a plunge animation. Right? From the moment you input your plunge up until you land, you can't get staggered. You're not immune to crowd control. You can get frozen, but you can't get staggered. And that gives you some windows of time where Xingqiu's resistance to interruption isn't helping you, because you would have that resistance to interruption anyways. But I still don't love it. We tried Navia, Furina, Xianyun, Bennett. No, but I've heard people say it was good, and that makes a lot of sense to me. I think the reality is that as soon as you're playing a solo Geo Navia team, multiple chamber stuff is gonna start feeling like garbage. Because you just won't have your burst back for the next chamber. And then you'll have to fucking die of cringe getting your burst back at the start of the next chamber. And it'll just not feel good. Right, like, there's a lot of really annoying issues that don't translate directly to DPS sheets. And that's why my favorite Geo teammate, outside of Zhongli, if you feel like you need the shield for Navia, is Geo MC, right? Because of his ability, or her ability. Because of their ability to front-load energy generation. But yeah, it is still a strong team, don't get me wrong.